Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I hope to return to my metal casting art projects in the near future. I got a 300 pounds of bismuth on hand and a bunch more on the way. And I was just reflecting on my ideas of cornering the market on bismuth and learning from the mistakes the last time somebody tried to do that 45 years ago now. So I buy bismuth from different suppliers on Alibaba and sometimes from some of the distributors. So I sometimes use Bolton Metals, and the price has gone up and down in the last 2.5 years that I've been doing it. But I like it when the price goes down because I'm nowhere near needing to use any of this stuff at the moment. In fact, when the price of bismuth goes down, it's not like the price that I'm selling my art for is going to go down with it, right? Most people don't follow the price of bismuth. In fact, most people don't follow the price of any metals, right? If I were an artist working with gold and silver, I would still want gold and silver to go down, right? Not too many people go randomly ask a few people on the street, hey, what's the price of gold today, right? You'd be surprised, right? In fact, I saw I think I saw on YouTube one time a cashier who had a customer had walked in with a $20 gold eagle, and the cashier thought the customer was pulling her leg and didn't accept it, right? It just goes to show how ignorant people could be with our currency. But the thing is that the price has fluctuated a bit. And if you had tried to buy bismuth with any degree of leverage, you would have been shaken out any of these moments, right? There was a time when bismuth went from I buy it in 50-pound boxes. There was one time I bought it for 200 something, if I remember correctly. It's back up a little bit, but at the beginning of my career, it was closer to 400. So if you had taken out a 10-to-1 ratio, you're out, right? Even if bismuth prices really do shoot the moon eventually. And so you want to own your bismuth outright. And I would go a step farther. Don't over leverage it in any sort of way, right? If you have any debts and you try to corner the market at bismuth, I wouldn't be surprised if you bought the bismuth with your credit cards and something were to happen with your credit. I wouldn't be surprised if the credit card company technically owns the bismuth, right? Especially if it then goes to the moon. I wouldn't be surprised if their lawyers would argue that, oh, you bought bismuth on your credit card 2 years ago, and we want it, right? I wouldn't be surprised. For most consumer products, technically they could probably repossess your big screen TV. They probably don't bother, right? It's more of an issue of whether or not it's worth repossessing. But I guarantee you, if something were to go parabolic, that story would change, right? But the principle of if you don't hold it, you don't own it, doesn't just apply to precious metals. A lot of people get fixated. So these last 2 years have also been marked with quiet quitting. I learned the hard way that until that money or whatever benefit from my workplace actually shows up in my bank account or actually gets realized in some way, right? Whether it be healthcare benefits or a vacation, until I actually fly away and use that paid vacation time, right? It's all theoretical, right? So try not to get fixated on future promises. If your job is full of future promises, it's full of shit, right? Make sure it's in your hand. Make sure the money falls into your bank account and gets converted into some kind of hard asset before you get too excited about what's going on at your job. I'm a big sucker, by the way. A lot of times, if I get fixated on future work or future benefits, that's why a lot of my colleagues take advantage of me sometimes. I still am, but I'm learning to be more smart about it. I used to get excited when colleagues or even some unprofessional bosses that I've had would promise to hook me up on a date with a girl, and then they would siphon all sorts of favors out of me, promising that, right? Until that girl is actually in your arms, and better yet, there's a piece of paper associated with. Until then, try not to get too fixated on those things, right? So if you don't hold it, you don't own it. It's that simple, really, with anything. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.